and welcome to Living Wealthy Always. This is your host, Junette Lewis. Today I've got one of those stories that's going to move you. I'm heading out to meet with Miss Sharon D. Johnson. This woman is what you call inspirational, and I know I say that all the time, but listen, Miss Johnson has got one of those phenomenal lives. Molested at age 6, became a drug dealer, was a teenage pregnant mom, had 5 kids by the time she was age 23, was almost going to spend 30 years in jail, but she turned it around. Today, this woman is an author, she's a philanthropist, she's an entrepreneur, doing dynamic. And I'm going to tell you, you've got to hear this story because I know somebody's life is going to be changed by this one. Listen, let's head out and meet Miss Johnson.
Much, Joanne, for inviting me. I am so excited to be here. I get so excited with every opportunity I have to share my story.
Thank you so much for offering to be on the show. Listen, we're going to get right into it because this is serious stuff that's going on, that you have going on in your life. And we really need to let the world know because somebody's life is going to be changed by what you've experienced. I know it's going to make a difference. So let's begin. Sharon, we already mentioned you're a philanthropist. We already said that you're an author. We already said you're an entrepreneur. But we know that your life did not start off that way. Let's begin by talking about Sharon the child. Tell me about when you were 6 years old. What happened when you were 6 years old?
When I was 6 years old, Joanne, I was molested by family members. Some of them supposed to be taking care of me. In fact, they took advantage of me.
Took advantage.
Oh,
instead.
yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay,
Yes.
and in the sense that you were, I know that I've read the book, and for those of you who have not read the book, you've got to get the book because in the book you start off by talking about your grandmother leaving you with a family member, and that was your first sexual molestation.
Yeah, it started with family members leaving me with my older teenage cousin.
Yes.
She left me with the next door neighbor. And they just took advantage.
They just took advantage of the situation.
Yes.
So yeah, and in the sense that you even mentioned about in your book about you being able to know what it is that they wanted you to do because you've been molested so much.
Yeah, Joanne, at one point in your life, if you go through all the same thing over and over and over and over again, at some point you're going to become familiar with it.
Yes.
And one point in my life when I was left with other teenagers' cousins.
Yes.
And they made a move. I was already familiar. I knew just what to do. I knew what they wanted.
You knew what they wanted.
Exactly.
You knew what to do. Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So because of this, we're going to talk about you were a teenage pregnant mom. Mm-hmm. How old were you when you had your first child?
I was 13 years old when I had my first child. By the age 23, I already had 5 kids.
You'd already had the 5 children.
Yes.
And you had, and these are all the same father?
All
or
different fathers.
All different fathers.
Yes.
But this came as a result of you experiencing sexual molestation. That gave you a thirst and a desire to want to be with other people. Is that what happened?
You are so correct. You hit it right on the point.
Yes.
I'm telling you. As I turned into my teens, I had a strong desire just to be with men. That feeling just stayed on me so bad.
Yes, because of what happened, yes.
Yes.
And now, I know that you got the 5th child by the time you were age 23.
Yes.
Right. In between that, something happened. When you were pregnant with your first child, in the book it said, what major happened when you told the father of the first child?
When I told the father of my first child, he's like, no, this is not my baby. He moved on. He was a football player on the varsity team, and all the girls were crazy about him. At one point, he just stopped calling and stopped talking to me, and I was on the porch one day, and I looked up. He was walking by with my best friend holding hands.
So your best friend stole your boyfriend?
Yes.
Oh my goodness,
Yes.
what a feeling.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I can just imagine that. Now, we have to move on. You had entered into drug dealing?
Yes.
At one point in your life, you became a drug dealer?
Yes.
Okay, good. Tell me a little bit more about that.
I became a drug dealer around the age 19, 20. I'm not exactly sure, but I became a big-time celebrity drug dealer, and it was crazy. I made so much money. Never had a 9 to 5. Didn't know how to get a 9 to 5. I got out of school in the 8th grade. So this was my way of supporting my kids.
That's what I was going to ask.
Yes.
You got into
Yes.
drug dealing because that's the only way you knew at that point
Only
how
means.
to support your children.
Yes.
So that led you into that. Now, you mentioned also in the book that you were in a relationship with a man who was a drug dealer. Was it that man that led you into that life, or you just got in to doing that?
I had that life before I met him.
Okay.
Once I got with him, everything got bigger and bigger, took it to a whole nother level.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yes.
And also, your father died and your grandmother died. Tell me a little bit about that situation.
Well, I was raised by my Asian grandmother and my father.
Okay.
And when my grandmother died, it left my father and myself and the kids. And a year later, my father passed. So it was no way that I can kind of like do this on my own.
That you knew how
Yeah.
to handle it.
I
Because
did not know how to handle it on my
after
own.
coming out of school at 8th grade, not having the education, what else would you do? You did the best that you knew what to do.
The only thing I knew how to do.
You knew
Yeah.
yes. And Sharon, we've got to go back because we must talk about your mother. You said that your mother left you, dropped you off at the age of 2. Tell me a
Yeah.
little bit more about that situation with your mom.
My mom left me in the yard at the age of 2 years old. And the story I was told that she gave my brother to someone just passing by. I don't really touch on that topic a lot because at this point in my life, I'm older, I'm wiser, and I have forgave her for whatever it was.
Yes.
You know, but
Yes,
that's
yes.
the story that I was told. But
Yes.
we've moved on, and
Yes.
I've forgiven her for it.
You're forgiving her for
Yes.
it. So you do have a relationship with
Oh,
her
yes.
now.
Yes.
Well, that's good. That's
Yes.
good. I'm glad that you certainly do have a
Yes.
relationship.
Yes.
Now, Sharon, also there is abuse, physical abuse in your book as well of what's happened in your life. Tell me a little bit more about that physical abuse. I know that was a major part that you spoke about in your book, and I don't want to give everything away in the book, but tell me about that particular situation.
In my book, I talk about the main character, or should I say one of the main characters, Tim. And I talk about all of the physical and verbal abuse that he put on me and my children.
Yes.
He molested 13-year-olds, slept with my 16-year-old. I stayed, didn't know how to leave. Just stayed 3 years after.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
3 years after this, you still stayed into the
Oh, yeah.
relationship.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, because
Yeah.
you felt that you didn't know what to do.
I did not know what to do at that point. And I remember watching some talk shows, and I would see these women that go through similar situations, or basically the same situation. I was like, okay, she's just stupid. But I looked up one day, and that woman was me.
And that was you.
Yeah,
oh
that
my
was
God,
me.
you were seeing there.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And now, I've got to interrupt for a second because something just recently happened. As much as yesterday, this interview is happening today, but it was brought to my attention that Tim passed away.
Yes, I got a call this morning that Tim passed last night. He was in some kind of motorcycle accident, and it's been confirmed he's dead.
Oh my goodness. So
Yes.
just as we're about to do this major thing, that's interesting.
Yes.
Yes. Now, and I'm going to leave that alone because, you know, I understand the importance and the seriousness of that. But for you as a person, when you finally got yourself up and walked out and you got all the energy that you needed and left, what was that feeling like? Did you relieve yourself from that situation?
When I finally made a decision to leave and to be free of him for good, it was different. It was hard. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that every day was easy because it wasn't. But what I can tell you that every day got better.
Yes.
Every day
Yes,
got better.
yes.
And I believe that time plays a major part in anything you do. You know, so for me, the time, the change, all of that was good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I'm certainly glad that you were able to make it out because today you're able to become the woman that you are today.
Oh, yes.
Because definitely, do you believe that had you been with him, would you been able to make that transition to being an entrepreneur and taking yourself to a whole nother level?
It's funny you say that,
Yes.
Joanne, because I had that conversation just last night when I got the news that he passed, and
Yes.
someone asked me the question, do you ever regret being with him? And that answer is no, because I think, honestly, I can say without that life, I could have not had this life.
Yes.
That life has brought me this life.
To this
Yes.
life. You're on the different side of the tracks now. You're a totally different woman. And this is phenomenal. This is the point that we are going to talk about, the major change that has happened in your life. And today, tell me what you were doing. Today you've got a big conference, A number one plan. You're definitely an entrepreneur. You have several businesses. You've got Cameo Bath and Beauty Products. You've got the magazine. You've got the SAG. You've got a ton of, you've got the nonprofit organization YouTube.
Yeah.
So you've came a far way to the woman that you are today.
Yes. I'm just excited about the conference this year. This is my 4th annual conference, June 1st. And I'm excited about all the speakers that I'm bringing in. Even yourself, I'm so excited to have you as my host.
Yes, thank you.
You know, but I love doing this conference, and every year I try to take it to another level.
Yes.
And I want to help so many people, and it's so important that we do the right thing at this conference.
Yes.
And let women lead with the help they need.
But the things that they need.
Yes.
And generally at the conference, the way that it goes is people talk. You have your speakers. What are the main topics that your speakers
We're
are
talking
going to
about believe it and achieve it.
Yes.
You're too blessed to be stressed. And we're bringing in Victoria Raw, Drew Silla for Young and the Restless. And she's going to be talking about her as a child, how she came up through the adopted system, you know, and how she went to foster care to foster care. We're going to have Fantasia Barrino Mother. She's going to give a word for all these great women. You know, we're going to have a good time, Joanne. I'm so excited.
You also do have Amber Smith, and you've got Pastor D from the Sisterhood.
Yes.
Yes.
Pastor D has a great story.
Yes.
Great overcoming story. And if you watch the Sisterhood, then you know what I'm talking about.
Yes, certainly.
And Amber Smith, she's right in Columbia. She just dropped a CD last month.
Oh, okay.
So she's going to have some nice singing, good entertainment, going to be some good food.
Oh, good.
It's going to be something.
Well, I'm so glad that you invited me to be the host. I'm certainly honored that you did, and I look forward to being a part of it.
I can't wait.
Yeah, and one of the major questions I have to ask everybody, Sharon, on this show, what is living wealthy to you?
Living wealthy to me is giving back. It's helping someone who's down. Living wealthy is just not turning your back on people. There's so many people out here that need our help right now, Joanne. And I'm just a firm believer that we got to help these women. And it's not where you start, but where you finish. That's living wealthy to me.
What a fabulous answer, Sharon, because that's exactly what living wealthy is. It makes no sense if you're blessed in this world and you're not able to bless somebody else that's around you. Yes, it's not always about money every single time. It's about what we're doing as human beings in this earth to live happy and make sure that the others around us are living healthy and wealthy and happy too. So with that, are you living wealthy?
I'm living wealthy, Joanne.
Yes. Yes, you are. Well, I thank you so much, Sharon, for taking the time and being on this show. I am honored to know you and to read your book. When I read it, I'm certainly honored to be a part of your conference.
Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you. Well, that's it for us here on Living Wealthy, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. And you've got to tune in next week for the next show. We are going to be in St. Simon's Island, and we're going to speak to the military. Guess what? Uncle Sam cares about its people. They actually have retreats for the single people and for the married people as well, to make sure that they're mentally okay, that they can get a vacation from all of the stress that they normally have. So tune in next week for that, and I thank you so much. Oh, I'm gonna put it in the blooper. I'm recording. Okay, hold on.
I just want to get you.